I'm here at the Future of General Insurance and I'm excited to interview Amanda Blanc, CEO, AXA Insurance UK and Ireland. So I'm going to kick off with something that I know is quite major and probably taking over much of what you're doing at the moment, but there's really exciting times ahead for AXA with the new business structure, I guess, almost complete. Mm-hmm. Could you just tell us maybe what some of the challenges are in implementing something like this?
I mean, obviously, when you go through any change, the challenge is really keeping people on board and communicating with people about what's going to happen, because change just creates uncertainty, and it's the same for anybody. So the biggest challenge, and I think actually the biggest opportunity, is in the communication to the teams around what is going to happen, why it's going to happen, why it's really exciting, and what their role in that is going to be. So we, as you say, we're nearly through. The structure's in place. The strategic business units are in place. The claim structure was put in place at the start of this year. So we're sort of raring to go. And it's been good fun. Really good fun.
So that's an interesting change that obviously is being managed. And if we think about the market, they're always trying to manage a number of changes, and we survey the insurance market every year. So this year, market competition in our Future of General Insurance report emerged as the top pressure on the industry. This eclipses last year's top pressure, which was regulation. So there's been some change there. What's your perspective on this view?
Well, I don't think the regulatory challenge has gone away. So all the market competition has done, I think they've just swapped places. My view is that market competition is tough. I mean, in certain lines of business, clearly in the property-based classes where we haven't had, a Nat Cat event, or we haven't had a big weather event, then yeah, it is really challenging. It's very, very competitive. And so we've seen rates go down in home insurance. That's pretty well trailed. And this in commercial insurance, everybody wants to grow in that market. That creates competition. So I would say market competition is really tough, but I think it's just a moment in time. As with anything with these surveys, at the time that you were doing it, it's probably the toughest part of the year. Everybody is looking towards the end of the year thinking, am I going to hit my budgets? Am I going to hit my numbers? It's very, very competitive. And whilst regulation is still up there as a key point, there haven't been as many thematic reviews this year as there were last year. So I think it's probably, lower on the agenda. But for insurers, we still have the challenge of Solvency II. So a different type of regulation, yes, but still a regulatory challenge that we have to deliver this year. So I don't think it's completely gone away. That would be my own view.
So if we think a little bit more about the market again, one thing that we hear a lot at conferences, as I'm sure you're aware, is about the potential for disruption to all sorts of markets. And the insurance industry is right up there with a lot of interest in how that might change. And do you worry about potential disruption from non-insurers?
Look, I worry about everything. It's my job to do that, but I'm actually more focused on what we're doing to deal with any potential competition, whether it's non-insurer or insurer-based, and about creating innovation within AXA, about creating customer centricity within AXA, about making sure that customers that deal with AXA have a good experience. That's more my issue. I think you could spend the whole time worrying about, at the moment, at this time of year, we're all looking at the weather forecasts. Is it going to rain? Is it going to flood? Is it going to freeze? You can worry about so many different things, but you have to do something about the things that you can control. We're in control of our own businesses. We're not in control of the others. Therefore, do something about it. And if you're worried about disruption, if you're worried about what other people are going to do, anticipate what that is and then fix it. So you can moan about it, but there's not a lot of point. You actually need to do something about it.
And that brings us on, that's very, very pragmatic, and that brings us on perfectly to the next issue, which is really about customers. Yep. So when you say that you want to put customers at the heart of your business, what does that mean for your business, but also for your employees?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a twee statement, isn't it? We're going to put customers at the heart of our business. And it sounds, and almost when I hear myself say, I think, oh, don't say it like that, because it just sounds false. It doesn't sound real. What does it actually mean? It actually means put yourself in the place of the customer. So for example, at the point of claim, if you are a customer, if you are panicking, if you've got water up to your knees, if you've just had an accident in the car, think about how you will feel. So when they speak to you, when they contact you, whether it's via their broker, by phone, by FaceTime, however they do it. Think about what it's like for them so that you design your customer journeys. That's just a fancy way of saying you design in your interaction with your customers in the way that you know is going to satisfy them, in the way that you speak to them. Think about the language that you use. Think about the people and the empathy of the way that you deal with them. It's really not that hard, but actually we seem to have made it very hard for ourselves. And so, think about language, think about people, and for the employees, it's actually really exciting because the employees get an opportunity to sort of behave normally and to actually input into this process, because the best people to ask about what's good for customers are your employees. For a start, they probably are customers themselves.
Dealing with them
Yeah,
every day.
well, they deal with them every day, but they're also customers themselves. I mean, you think too much around customers or those things outside of your business. Well, no, absolutely everybody will have to have a motor insurance policy if they own a car. Everybody has a home, or they know somebody who has a home. So use that experience to make your own experience better. And I think that we too often we miss that big opportunity of treating our own staff, our own employees are our customers too.
And some of the best ideas can come
completely.
Can come from
Completely.
them.
I mean, it is very, very false to say that all the great ideas come from the management. They definitely do not. Definitely do not.
So, thinking about your own career now, if I may, what are you most proud of?
I'm proud of so many things, but I think the thing for me that's been the most amazing part of my career is really when I was president of the CII. I think because that is something that is an industry body. It is doing fantastic things in terms of making the industry more professional, ensuring that they put the customer at the heart of what they do, making language simple. And so for me to be the president of that organisation was fantastic, and I've achieved a lot. You've had loads of awards. I've had awards. The CEO, the personality of the year. You get all of that, but there's nothing like actually representing your industry and speaking on behalf of your industry. That for me was the proudest moment.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for answering the questions here today.
That's okay. Thank you.